What's up guys, so today I'm going to be showing you guys how to set up your car audio amplifier. So that includes gains, low pass filter, subsonic filter, and bass boost. Amplifier settings are really important as they determine what kind of sound comes out of your speakers. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is setting up your amplifier gains. So setting amplifier gains is a really important setting to get right because you could possibly damage your speaker if this is set incorrectly. So if your amplifier gain is set too high, then it's going to be sending a clipped signal to your speakers. So this is what a normal sine wave looks like. And this is what a clipped sine wave looks like. And the reason that this is so bad for your speakers is because whenever a subwoofer receives a clipped signal, it's not getting the proper cooling that it needs. Because when a subwoofer plays a clipped signal, the subwoofer has to stop for a split second and then it starts moving again. And then it repeats this process over and over. And this causes the voice coil to heat up, and this is what leads to your subwoofer blowing. But you're also not going to be getting the optimal sound quality for your speaker too. So this is why setting your amplifier gain correctly is very important. So the first thing you want to do is grab a multimeter, and then you want to set it to the AC setting because a subwoofer uses alternating current. Now for the next step, I would recommend leaving your subwoofer plugged into the amplifier, and that's so you can make sure that your amplifier gains are set correctly, because if you do disconnect your subwoofer and set amplifier gains, well, whenever you reconnect your subwoofer is going to have box rise. So that means the impedance is going to change depending on the frequency. So that's why I like setting my amplifier gains whenever my subwoofer is connected, just to make sure that it's set 100% correctly. But if you don't feel like playing your subwoofer at max volume, then obviously you can disconnect it. So the next thing you guys want to do is connect the positive and negative terminal on your multimeter to the positive and negative speaker wire, or to the positive and negative to your amp. And you want to make sure that your amplifier gains is turned all the way down. The next thing you want to do is calculate the correct voltage that your amplifier is supposed to put out, because depending on how you have it wired up, your amplifier is supposed to output a specific voltage just depending on how much power your amplifier actually outputs. So my main amplifier goes down to 1 ohm, but right now I have it wired down to 2 ohms. So I need about 36 volts. So that means that my amplifier can put out 36 volts, but if it outputs anything over that, then it's going to be sending a clipped signal to my subwoofer. So I'm just going to use my flathead screwdriver, and I'm going to slowly turn the gain until I see 36 volts on my multimeter. Then my gains are set correctly. Your guys' voltage is going to be different just depending on how many watts your amplifier outputs, but also it'll change depending on how you have it wired. So now we can move on to low pass. So what the low pass filter does is you're basically setting the highest frequency that you want your subwoofer to play. The highest frequency that you want your subwoofer playing is whatever the lowest frequency that your main speakers can play. So let's say that your main speakers go down to 100 Hertz at the -3 dB point, then that's a good spot to have your low pass filter set. And you can easily find your speaker's frequency response online, but if you can't seem to find it, then you can open up a tone generator and make sure that your subwoofer isn't connected, and you can start playing frequencies, and you can see when your main speakers start to roll off. So my speakers start to roll off around 110 to 115 Hertz, so I have my low pass filter on my subwoofer set to 115 Hertz. So once you have your low pass filter set, we can move on to the subsonic filter. So the subsonic filter is the lowest frequency that your subwoofer can play. And the reason that this is important is because if your subwoofer plays a super low frequency at a high volume, then your subwoofer can possibly have too much excursion, and it can actually end up damaging your subwoofer. So a good way to avoid this is by setting your subsonic filter. Now this is going to be different for every subwoofer, because some subwoofers need their subsonic filter set right at the box's tuning frequency, but some other subwoofers might need their subsonic filter like 4 or 5 Hertz below tuning, or sometimes even like 10 Hertz below. So one good way to find this out is to open up a frequency generator, and I recommend starting at your subwoofer's tuning frequency, and make sure that your subwoofer is set at a decent volume, but make sure it's not set too high, because if it's set too high, then you can possibly damage your subwoofer. We just need to be able to see it have some movement. So you want to slowly dip down below your tuning frequency, and once you start to see your subwoofer move a good amount, then that's probably a good place to set your subsonic filter at. So my subwoofer is tuned to 22 Hertz, and I was actually able to get my subsonic filter all the way down to 10 Hertz, and that's actually my amplifier's minimum. So some of you guys might be able to get away with having your subsonic filter set quite a bit below your tuning frequency, but for a lot of you guys, you might only be able to get like a couple Hertz below your tuning. So once you guys have your subsonic filter set, the last thing that we have to set is bass boost. So what we want to do is turn your bass boost all the way to the left, and this means that your bass boost is going to be turned off. And the reason I say this is because bass boost can introduce some clipping. You can use bass boost without it introducing clipping, and really one of the only ways to do that is by setting your bass boost and then setting your amplifier gain. But I still would recommend you guys having your bass boost fully turned off, and this is just to protect your subwoofer, because getting loud is good good and all, but what's even more fun is still being able to use your subwoofer, because if you're just trying to get loud, then it could cost you your subwoofer. So I definitely take a couple dB less and still have my subwoofer than just trying to get loud and blow my subwoofer. So now once you guys have all this set, your amplifier should be fully set up and you should be good to go to play your subwoofer. I also have a video in the top right corner right here showing you guys how to power your car audio amplifier indoors. I appreciate all y'all for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.